Hi, welcome to my channel, Math Made Easy with Laurel. I'm Laurel, and in this video we're going to talk about geometric sequences and series. In my previous video I talked about arithmetic sequences and series, where the relationship between the numbers was a common difference. However, with geometric, we also have sequences and series, and a sequence is simply an ordered list of numbers following a certain pattern or rule, whereas series is the sum of the numbers in a sequence. And with geometric sequences, that pattern is based on multiplication and division. The ratio between two consecutive numbers is constant rather than the difference. So if you take a look at this example, each number is multiplied by 2 to get the next number. Then this is multiplied by 2 to get the next number, and so on. Sequences can be finite, which means they have a set number of terms in the sequence, or they can be infinite. And this notation indicates that it's infinite, the comma and 3 dots. If I want to find other terms in the sequence, I just continue multiplying by 2. However, that can be very tedious and time-consuming. What I want to do is introduce a formula to find any term in a geometric sequence. Before I do that, I just want to talk a little bit about notation. We're going to label these terms in our sequence with this notation: a sub 1 for the first term, a sub 2 represents the second term, so that just means a subscript 2, a subscript 3 is the third term, a sub 4 is the fourth term, and so on. We can find any term in that sequence, which we're going to call a subscript n for the nth term. The formula looks like this: a sub n, where a sub n represents the nth term, will equal a sub 1, where a sub 1 represents the first term, times r, which is referred to as the common ratio. In this example, the common ratio is 2. Each number gets multiplied by 2 to get the next number. R is raised to the power of n minus 1, where n represents the term number. Looks kind of complicated, so I'm going to try to simplify it. Basically, what we're doing is we're taking our first number and we're multiplying by the common ratio, in this case of 2, a certain number of times to get that to that term. So if you take a look, we multiply 4 by 2 once to get the second term. We multiply 4 by 2 twice to get the third term. We multiply 4 by 2 3 times to get the fourth term. So it's always one less than the term number. I think it's even easier if we take a look at an example. So if we're asked to find the 10th term of this sequence, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, we're going to use this formula and identify all of these values. So A1 is the first term. First term is 4. R is the common ratio. So what are we multiplying each number by to get the next number? We've discussed it, we're multiplying by 2. If we're finding the 10th term, n is 10, and therefore we are finding a sub 10. So it's going to be the first term, which is 4, times our ratio to the power of n minus 1, so 10 minus 1. We're going to find 2 to the 9th power and then multiply by 4. So 4 times 512 will be 2048. Second example says find the next term of the sequence 64, 32, 16, 8. So let's determine if this is a geometric sequence. Look at the pattern. What do we multiply 64 by to get the next term? That would be 1/2. If we multiply 32 by 1/2, we get 16, and so on. So this is a geometric sequence, and our common ratio is 1/2. In order to find the next term, we don't need the formula. We simply take our last term of 8 and multiply by 1/2. So the next term in this sequence would be 4. However, what if I asked to find the 9th term? In order to find it, 9 is not a great number, so we could just continue with our sequence and find the 9th term. So right now we have 4 terms. So this would be the 5th term, multiply that by 1/2 to get the 6th term, multiply that by 1/2 to get the 7th term, multiply that by 1/2 to get the 8th term, and then multiply that by 1/2 to get the 9th term. The other option is to use the formula, so let's try that. Let's identify all of these values. Our first term has a value of 64. Common ratio is 1/2. And if we're finding the nth term, n will be 9. So the 9th term will be the first term of 64 times 1/2 to the 9 minus 1. So 64 times 1/2 to the 8th power, I kept that in fraction form. That's equal to 1 over 256. Multiply by 64, my answer is 1/4. Our next example says find the next term and the 12th term of the following sequence. So if we take a look, to get from 3 to -6, we multiply by -2. If we multiply -6 by -2, we get 12. 12 times -2 is -24. So it is a geometric sequence, and our common ratio is -2. If I want to find the next term, all I do is take this term of -24 and multiply by -2 to get 48. So 48 would be my next term. Now I don't want to continue multiplying by -2 to get the 12th term, so I'm going to use my formula for that. So in the formula, I need the first term, which is 3. I need the common ratio, which is -2. And I need n, if I'm finding the 12th term, n is 12. So let's plug those values into the formula to find a12. Be careful when you're finding a power and the base is negative. Understand that when the exponent is odd, that power will be negative. If the exponent is even, then that power will be positive. So -2 to the 11th power will be equal to -2048. When we multiply that by 3, we get -6144. So that would be the 12th term of this sequence. You might be asked a question like this. Write a general or explicit formula for the sequence, in this case 2, 10, 50, 250, and so on. It's geometric. Each number gets multiplied by 5 to get the next number. So we know that the ratio, or the common ratio, is 5. We know our first term is 2, and that's all we need to write the general formula. So to find any a sub n, we put the first term in, which is 2, and multiply that by r, which is 5, to the n minus 1. So this would be the general formula for this particular sequence. And our last sequence example is write the first 5 terms of the geometric sequence defined by this formula. So we want to know a1, a2, a3, a4, a5. Now if you take a look at the formula, you might recognize that 5 is the value of the first term. But in case you don't, let's just plug 1 in for n and find a1. When we put a 1 in for n, 1 minus 1 is 0. 2 to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So 5 times 1 is 5. When we're finding a sub 2, we put a 2 in for n, and we'll get 5 times 2 to the power of 1, which is 10. When n is 3, we'll have 5 times 2 to the 3 minus 1, which is 5 times 2 squared, which would be 20. a4, put a 4 in for n, and we will get 40. And the last term, a5, will be 5 times 2 to the 5 minus 1, or 5 times 2 to the 4th power, which is 80. So the first 5 terms of the geometric sequence defined by this formula would be 5, 10, 20, 40, 80. Now let's talk about geometric series. A geometric series is a partial sum of the terms in a geometric sequence. It might be finite, meaning it ends, or it might be infinite, meaning it continues on. You might see this wording in an example. It says, find the sum of the first 5 terms in the geometric sequence 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and so on. When we want the sum of the terms in a sequence, we're finding a series. We want to find the sum of the first 5 terms, which we could just find by adding up these numbers. That sum is 124. That's not going to be very efficient when we're finding sums of larger numbers of terms. So let's take a look at the formula that we can use instead. The formula looks like this. S sub n represents the sum of n terms. It will be equal to a sub 1, which we've already talked about. That's the value of the first term. times 1 minus r, which represents the common ratio for a geometric series or sequence, to the exponent of n, where n represents the number of terms, divided by 1 minus r. Let's now do this question using the formula to find the sum of the first 5 terms. So identify, we already know a sub 1 is 4. The common ratio from 4 to 8 is multiplying by 2, and so on, so our common ratio is 2. And if we're finding the sum of the first 5 terms, n will be 5. So let's plug those values into our formula. So the sum of the first 5 terms will equal a sub 1, which is 4, times 1 minus r to the n, divided by 1 minus r. So s sub 5 will equal 4 times negative 31, divided by negative 1, which is 124, which we know is correct. In our next example, it says find the sum of the first 10 terms of the geometric series 3 plus negative 6 plus 12 plus negative 24, and so on. So let's determine if it is a geometric series. If we take a look at the first term, if we multiply that by negative 2, we get the second term. If we multiply this by negative 2, we get the third term, and so on. So it is a geometric series. Let's define what our values are when n is 10. Our first term is 3. R, we've already discussed, is negative 2. And if we're finding the sum of the first 10 terms, n is 10. Now let's calculate s sub 10. A sub 1, which is 3. 1 minus negative 2 to the nth power, which is 10, divided by 1 minus negative 2. Let's simplify. So that would be 1 minus 1024. 1 minus negative 2 will be a positive 3. And our answer is negative 1023. Our next example says find the sum of the first 8 terms of the geometric series 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8, and so on. In this case, our common ratio is 1/2. Each number gets multiplied by 1/2 to get the next number. We're going to use our formula and identify all of these values. A1 is the value of the first term, which is 64. Our common ratio is 1/2. And if we're finding the sum of the first 8 terms, n is 8. So s sub 8 will be a1, which is 64, times 1 minus r, which is 1/2, to the power of n, which is 8, divided by 1 minus r, so 1 minus 1/2. I left it in fraction form because I found 1/2 to the 8th power was easier in fraction form than as a decimal. It was easier to keep it exact. So 64 times 1 minus 1 over 256. When I subtract, I'll get 255 over 256. When I multiply by 64, that simplifies to 255 over 4, and we divide by 1/2. So we end up with 255 over 2, and then I change it to a decimal. Sum of the first 8 terms was 127.5. Now I want to talk about something called infinite sum of a geometric series. That means finding the sum when n approaches infinity. It will only be possible to find that if the absolute value of r is less than 1. So in other words, r is a fraction between negative 1 and 1. If r is a value outside of that, it's impossible to find the infinite sum, because as n increases, our numerator grows without bound. However, if the absolute value of r is less than 1, this will not grow without bound. It will actually converge to a specific value. We have a special formula to find that sum of an infinite series. So let's take a look. And that formula is indicated with sum sub infinity, so that represents the infinite sum, equals a1 over 1 minus r. This formula only works, as I mentioned, if the absolute value of r is less than 1. Let's do an example to show you how this works. Next example says find the infinite sum of the geometric series 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus, and so on. So this is the example that we just did. We found that r was equal to 1/2. So because this value is less than 1, I know that this formula is going to work. We know a sub 1 is 64. So let's plug these into our formula. We get 64 divided by 1 minus 1/2, which is 64 divided by 1/2, which is 128. So that would be the infinite sum of this geometric series. Let's look at one last example. So we want to find the infinite sum of the geometric series 1 plus -1/2 plus 1/4 plus -1/8, and so on. So we take a look at this and we can see that each number gets multiplied by -1/2 to get the next number. So that's our common ratio. We also need the first term, which in this case is 1. Let's plug those values into our formula. So our infinite sum will equal a1, which is 1, divided by 1 minus r, which is -1/2. And that's equal to 1 over 1 plus 1/2, which is 3/2. 1 over 3/2 is 2/3. So if we were to add up all of the terms in that geometric series, as the number of terms grew larger and larger and larger, that sum would get closer and closer and closer to 2/3. So in summary, we talked about how to find any term in a geometric sequence. We use this formula. The nth term will equal the first term times the common ratio to the power of n minus 1. And then we talked about how to find the sum in a geometric series. Sum of the n terms will equal the first term times 1 minus the common ratio to the power of n divided by 1 minus r. And if the absolute value of r is less than 1, so in other words, r is between -1 and +1, we can find the infinite sum with this formula. It's equal to the first term divided by 1 minus the common ratio. I hope you found this helpful. In my next video, I'm going to summarize all of the formulas for arithmetic and geometric sequences and series.